So in my last video, I talked about when did I know it was the right decision for us to move here. So in this video, I want to talk about something that doesn't normally make the highlight reels. There was a moment that after we moved, I questioned everything. And before you start thinking, not in a dramatic way, not in a panic way, and not in a regret way. More like in a way where there's this quiet voice that shows up once you slow down and you're all alone with your own thoughts. It's a moment where things are not even falling apart, but you're still asking yourself, did I really think this through? And if we're gonna be honest, most big decisions in life like this, you're gonna have moments like this. So let me show you what my moments look like. This wasn't day one. It wasn't the honeymoon phase. It wasn't a time where I was still feeling excited and everything was new. It was after I've been here for months and life at this time was feeling normal. I had my routines going, my responsibilities. The adrenaline at this point was gone. And this is the time where your doubts have room to speak, because once things get really quiet, your thoughts, they end up getting louder. So let's start with moment number one, the day everything felt harder than it should be. And I remember this day clearly. Nothing major went wrong, but everything just seemed like an inconvenience. On this particular day, the internet was acting up, the traffic was crazy when I went to run an errand, and the air conditioner was broken, needed fixing. In the US, these type of things would have been on autopilot for me. But here, it took real effort, different systems, different paces, just a whole completely different way of doing things. And I remember sitting there thinking, did I really just choose the harder version of life? And that thought stayed with me for longer than I expected. Moment number two, feeling out of place just in small ways. And this part doesn't get talked about as much because there were times and moments where I slightly felt out of place. And before you go there was nothing wrong, nothing hostile, just moments where I thought I just don't fully belong here yet. Because number one, I didn't know the language, so there was conversations that I couldn't catch, or knowing how something actually worked. And one of the most frustrating ones was knowing that I wasn't able to move as effortlessly as I did back in the United States. And when you experience this little by little, that subtle discomfort adds up. And just for a brief second, at least for me, you tend to miss the ease of the familiar. Moment three, when my confidence took a hit. And this one here surprised me because there were moments where I felt less confident about myself, but not insecure, just off balance. Because in the United States, I knew how things work. I knew the rules. I knew how to navigate life smoothly. But here, guess what? I was learning all over again. And let me say this, learning as an adult, especially when you're used to being competent, will humble you fast. And that's when I realized this move was not only about changing locations in my geography, it was about my identity as well. And moment number four, the money thoughts, yes, they started creeping in. Listen, I'd be lying if I said that money didn't cross my mind during this phase. And not because we were struggling, but just the thought of uncertainty when all those safety nets are gone. I would sometimes think, did I walk away from stability way too early? But it wasn't because I missed my job. It was because I missed the predictability, the paycheck every single week. And let me tell you something, that voice is sneaky. Especially when everything else is unfamiliar around you, it hits you hard. Number five, watching life back home continue without me. This one didn't affect me as much, but it did hit quietly. Scrolling through social media, seeing some of my friends at these different events, especially homecoming weekend at my old university, them buying houses, some buying cars. And if you don't control it for a second, that can mess with your head. And not because you want their life, it's because it's familiar to you. A familiar path always feels safe, even though when it's not aligned. That's why you got people who are not even aligned with life in the United States, but they feel safe because it's familiar to them. So I had to remind myself why I stepped off the path in the first place. Moment number 6, the weight of being a husband and a father. This was probably the heaviest part for me, because making a bold decision for yourself is one thing. Making it when you're responsible for your wife and your daughter is an entirely different thing. There were times in the beginning that I asked myself, did I put my family in a tougher position? And that question hits differently, especially when you care deeply about the people that are around you. But you know what I did? I revisited our why. And once you do that, it puts everything back into perspective. Yes, there are gonna be doubts, but always stay focused on your why. So what stopped me from thinking about turning back? Because I wasn't gonna turn back anyway, but what stopped those thoughts? Here's what changed. I realized I wasn't questioning the move itself. What I was questioning was the discomfort. And those two things are not the same. Discomfort doesn't mean wrong, it just means unfamiliar. And once I separated the two, that doubt, it lost its grip. Number 7, a small but powerful realization. One day I was just walking, no pressure, I was in no rush, and I thought about how my days used to feel. And even on my harder days here, my nervous system still feels much calmer. And that's when it clicked. I wasn't questioning the move, I was just letting go of the old version of myself. Listen guys, if you're thinking about a big life change and all of a sudden you're hit with doubt, that doesn't mean you're wrong. It just means you're human. The key is to understand what you're actually questioning. Are you questioning the decision, or are you questioning the discomfort which comes with growth? So if you're in a phase where you're seriously thinking about moving abroad and slowing everything down, before we move, when I tell you clarity helped me more than motivation ever did. Understanding what life would truly cost here gave me something solid to stand on when doubt showed up. That's why I created the DR Cost of Living Calculator. There's no commitment, it's just a way for you to think clearly. The link is in the video description if you're at this stage. Also, if you're looking to invest in real estate here in Dominican Republic, click the link that says I want to invest in real estate, and I'll put you in contact with my trusted realtor, Milton. Also guys, I got a weekly newsletter. It's called Live Your Best Life Newsletter. I'll put the link in the video description below. Sign up for it. Over there, we talk about money. We talk about self-development. We talk about living abroad. Definitely the community you want to be a part of. And lastly, before you get it twisted, the moment I questioned everything, that wasn't a warning sign. That was just a process. Some people look at it as a warning sign. They pack their bags and they head back. And getting through that, guess what it did? It made me more confident that we made the right choice. So guys, until the end, always keep your goals at the forefront of your mind. Always live in the present, because that's the only way you're gonna live your best life. And I'm out. Peace.
Je begon aan mijn best life, yeah. Je begon aan mijn best life, yeah. Something you and me, oh. Je begon aan mijn best life, yeah. Jumping, flexing,